Welcome back, all. I hope you're doing well. Despite how the markets are going, I still hope you're doing fine. We're all bearing through this at the same time. So just remember that, with everything happening with the overall markets, both crypto and stocks, the craziness with Luna, UST losing its peg. So all kinds of stuff has been happening over this past week and even a little before when the market started to drop. So just realize you aren't alone in this. You're in the same boat with me, whether I know maybe I haven't lost as much as other people, but we're still in the same market and we're all suffering the same way. Stocks are down as well. So we're all there. Just realize you got to breathe and you got to look long term and try to find that path forward. So this video is going to be about what I'm going to do, me personally, the path I have forward, what I'm going to invest in, what I'm going to do to weather this storm. So I think during these periods, you have to look at what's going to be long term for you as an investment. And I'm saying that from the perspective of this is going to be focused on crypto, but even in stocks, you do that. So you're picking out stuff that you like, that you believe has value and is going to maintain or grow value in the long term. So right now, this is not, for me anyways, not a period where I want to make a quick flip on a lot of stuff. I think it's dangerous at times like this for various reasons, and I'm just not good at it, to be honest. So you have to decide how you're going to play all that, but at least to grow and avoid a lot of the risk. Right now, it's all about long-term investing, finding out what you want to do to weather the storm. So, like Bitcoin, investing in those, finding projects that are actually going to survive this. We're going to look through all that, of course, everything going on with that, and we'll explore the first projects there. So before we get into the rest of the video, I could use your support by hitting the like button, getting this video seen. It'll get some support and traction in that YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, if you want to support me even more, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well so you know when the next video drops. All right, with that out of the way, I think I want to say, in my opinion, this is kind of an overall blanket statement. What you don't want to invest in right now are anything that's just focused on Ponzi-nomics, right? So anything that is not generating any kind of revenue, and blanket again statement, probably just about all the node projects that were hot and heavy. And I'll be honest, they've tapered off. There's not that many of them popping up like they used to be, but that's an example here. Now, I do have some node projects in here that I'm going to talk about that I actually do like during this period that I feel pretty good about. But overall, you just want to steer away from projects like that that just don't have any way to continue to build revenue because during this bear market time, less people are coming in to invest in crypto in general. Even in stocks, you're going to see some of that. So if you don't have people coming in, it just kind of kills off those projects that rely solely on that. And of course, you don't want to get into the project knowing you're going to lose from the very get go. So I want to look at the market real quick. You can see how terrible this is right now. Scrolling through here, looking at this, you see all of this is down greatly. I mean, look at all the red. I know right now during this period, we've got a little bit of an upswing, but I want to caution people out there right now that don't understand or know this. This market can go up or down at this moment, and to me, this could be a dead cat bounce, is what they call it. I don't do a lot of TA. I know some of the terms because I have been hit by this stuff, and it sucks to be blunt when this happens to you. You find out the hard way and learn that way. But anyways, so you see this 24-hour period. We've got some good movement up, but again, that does not mean that this is not a small bounce for trading action, and you're not going to see this turn right back around. So if we look at this 7-day period for all this, look at all this stuff that is in the red. And I mean, you can just come over here. Look at all the red, the sea of red here. And of course, this is last 7 days in the chart versus 24-hour percent here. Look at the numbers up here. Now, these are just my personal items that I've got starred, checked off, if you will. So you can see Sapphire. I'll talk to that in a minute because the first project I'm going to talk about, it basically owns, it's the team over Sapphire. And then I'm actually going to talk about this little guy here called HORDE. So anyways, the rest of these though, look at them. They're all down greatly. So overall, my point is just showing you the markets are bad for everyone. It's not just you that got into something. And I mean, sure, we all get into bad projects. We all make mistakes on that. Sometimes we get into rugs. But right now, the general market trend is not good. So now with that being done, the very first project I'd like to talk about is yield nodes. So again, I said stay away from a lot of the node projects that are just Ponzi-nomics and they're not real. Yield nodes is a real project. You can go check out the video up here to learn more about it because I won't go into a ton of detail in this video. We don't have time, right? So go check that out. Yield nodes basically creates master nodes for you, and you get revenue share from those master nodes doing their operations on various different projects, chains, etc., with the coins that they're associated with. So great stuff there. Now, what I will say is it is still risky, even though it generates revenue. So there's always risk with these, but I like yield nodes a lot. I've been in it for, we're going on almost 3 months now. Very happy with the project. That video I did shows you the numbers there, but just take a look at this chart here. This is the weekly profit for 2022. Now you can see we took that first hit the first week of May when we started having these rough numbers, and this is the end of May or the end of week 1 of May. So you'll see this, and this is the end of week 1 of May. So we'll say the 7th or the 8th or something like that. So, anyways, this was kind of when we first started seeing bad stuff. Now you can tell there's a drop as a result of the markets, but as I showed you a second ago, Sapphire is one of the projects they own, and Sapphire is actually doing pretty well here. So you see that increase there for the 7 day period, they've actually gone up 25%. I have no idea what's going on there. I haven't investigated this, but this is one of the master noted coins that they own. So, anyways, I hope they continue. Now, I will say in a way, I'm still happy to see that they're affected by the market because, it makes you wonder if they stayed the same, that'd be a little odd to me, but they're affected by the market. They're not nearly as high on percentages. They were just below, they were above 1.5%, which now they're down to about 1.25. It makes you feel, or at least makes me feel a little better knowing they're affected. And to be honest with you, the real test is going to be, and I didn't wait on the video to do this, but here in the next day or so, we should find out exactly where week 2 falls. Now, if it falls down here at 0, we probably have an issue. So just be aware of that. Check it out just to see where they're going before you were to invest in this. And here's a good segue, right? None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude making videos on the internet. So don't listen to me for, telling you to go invest in something. I'm just providing you the information so you can actually use that to make your own decision with your own finances. So what I am saying is, at this point, I'm already invested, but I would definitely look at see what week 2 produces for this chart. So overall, yield nodes, I like them. I hope they continue to be around, and I hope they weather the storm during this environment and continue to produce me that passive income. And now, with that being said, we have one more real node project to look at. After that, in the beginning, when I said we weren't going to look at node projects to some extent, you guys probably thought none at all. But the real node projects I feel good about, and another real one is Flux. So I really do like Flux. Flux is basically the Web3 decentralized platform. That's where you can go if you're an app that doesn't want to be out there on the Web2 interface, the old school stuff that, and this is again, I'm doing this brief overview of this. Consider this website that I'm on right now that's hosted, we'll say, on Amazon's servers, their web servers, or maybe Microsoft's, or another company out there that controls that. This is actually decentralized. I actually have a Flux server, which is the whole point of this, right? I actually have those tokens that are required staked for the server. I have a very small one. It's 1,000 tokens to stake, and those basically provide me back passive revenue in the form of Flux again. So they pay me back in Flux. Now, right now, Flux is suffering just like the rest of them. We'll look at the chart here. We'll go back here and you'll see it is down nearly 50% over the past 7 days. Of course, up a little bit with this upturn just a little bit. But overall, everything is affected. Now, I say this because long term, I still like Flux, and as a result, I think these are really, really, really good prices. Flux hit almost $2. I want to say about a month or two ago. I got in back in March, and so pretty affordable right now. What this means is you can get a node, one Flux node, the cheapest one at 1,000, right there, a little over $700. So you have the chance to do it at a cheaper price if you're interested in that project. And I think these are very good prices because I think Flux is a long-term node project that's going to be around in this Web 3.0 environment that things are moving to. So anyways, I like where they're going. You're in that passive revenue. You can either create the server in your home or you can do a VPS, which I went the VPS route. But this is one of those projects that is a long term. It's not going to get me passive income at this moment that's going to be really big. But you don't lose your initial investment in this project. Just like yield nodes, by the way, if I didn't mention that, these are great to hold that value without losing it and making just passive income on the side. And now for the fake node project in the room, and I probably shouldn't call it that, but that's the way I've talked to them, the real versus fake nodes. I love this project, so there's no offense meant, and I think they know that. So it's going to be a DOS or DeFi as a service protocol. This project I love. It has been around now for, sorry, looking at the calendar, I think this is almost 2 months now, probably another week, and they'll be 2 months long and 2 months old. It is HORDE. HORDE is one of my favorite projects for various reasons. It is just another node project in some sense, but the silver lining in all this that makes them extremely different from all the other node projects out there is their price bound protocol. All right, what does that mean? We're going to show you right here because it's way easier to see. Take a look at this chart, okay? We come back here and yeah, like I said, it's almost 2 months. We're getting close. So right there, project open, correct? We moved on up here to about $100. A little bit more than that, but the price bound protocol kicked into action is what happened. And you can see this right here. This is a very smooth bound range that is sitting in between. It started at 95 to 105 is where their sweet spot was, but they did a price increase and now I believe it's 6% over, which I can't do the math in my head right now. I'm a paper guy, by the way, so don't make fun of me. So anyway, 6% above that. 106 is the median. And so right now they're trying to maintain about $106. So the lower bound, of course, it can go down there and drop, and it does. But that basically is a system that they've made. It's algorithmic. They will use liquidity to buy when it hits the lower bound in order to increase that price range. And if it hits the peak, they'll actually sell some of those in order to come back. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. The real point of this is, and why this is so good, I believe, is because it takes the fear and the panic straight out. So people can't even do that, right? So right now, during these crazy market times, they don't have an option. It just doesn't matter because nobody opens this chart and goes, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go sell my Horde tokens. The price is dropping." That's not happening here, and thus the huge success of this. Now go check out my Horde playlist right up here. Got videos explaining more of that. Beautiful project, like I said. I love this project. It's actually a release today of their NFT scenes that I'm going to try to jump on, and I'm probably going to buy some more of their nodes. So, anyways, check them out. I think this is a good one to weather the storm. Oh, and I almost forgot. Release some new information that at least has been around for a couple days now. I talked about revenue generation for these projects and why I'd stay away from them if they didn't have it, and I didn't actually mention it here, but as it turns out, this project is actually going to offer up, and it's more of a partnership or a team effort with other projects out there in the node area, maybe other projects as well. But they're actually going to partner with some sort of deal. They'll of course generate revenue from this. I don't know the details on what they'll charge, but if project node B comes out over to Horde and says, "I'd love to use your algorithm," they will actually come to them. And this is proprietary, essentially. This is not public, by the way, which is why this works. So what that means is they can actually come over and ask for it, and they, Horde, that is, can make revenue from these projects as a result of that. So there's a key for you right there. This was a huge announcement in my mind that they actually have a path for revenue generation. Of course, that requires projects coming to them. But I think this is very good stuff here for even longer term beyond what they were already doing with their price bound protocol, using it in their system itself. All right, next up, easy stuff here, right? Blue chips. So this is easy, right? This is just like you going and buying a stock that you love and you want to hold on to it. Okay. If you believe in Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin is just under $30,000. And if it was more expensive a year ago, and hint, hint, it was, let's go back to this peak here, and this may or may not be a little bit off, but let's look at this right here back in November. So almost 70,000. So let's just say 70,000 for the peak. Okay. $30,000 is a small discount, you might say. All right. How many times over the course of Bitcoin being out there has Bitcoin and all the people out there, I'm going to look at it this way. How many times have you heard someone say it dropped, it's never going to come back, and Bitcoin came back and actually went way, way, way higher? With other coins, Ethereum, I still believe in Ethereum. BNB, there are so many projects out there on DeFi that use BNB amongst other things. XRP, if you believe in them. And I've just got some of these noted. There's even more, but if you just believe in the standard blockchains, so AVAX, Matic, all these gas fee coins that you see, I mean, these are all important items that you might want to hold on to. You might want a bag of them for the future because look at Sol. Sol was at about $100. Now Sol is down to $50. I mean, you're basically, my point is, you're getting these on sale. And if you believe in these blue chips, go buy yourself some and hold on to them. Dollar cost average into these. Don't get caught thinking that it's fixing to turn around. I mentioned that dead cat bounce. So you see a bit of a turn. We've got that today. Markets look better? Sure. But that doesn't mean this is not fixing to be a big fake out and it's not fixing to turn around and drop again, hence the dead cat bounce. I guess they bounce pretty high. I don't know. Sometimes I've never seen a dead cat bounce. But, anyways, aptly named, I suppose. All right, so this is kind of a random one. I don't have a video on this, and I really probably should do one, but I also got into E.M.P. E.M.P is basically a tomb fork. I like it. It offers all kinds of different investments. I can't go over all those, but if you're familiar with tomb forks, E.M.P is just pegging on the Binance Smart Chain. It is pegging a token called E.M.P to Ethereum. So 4,000 E.M.P has to be equivalent value in USD to an Ethereum, to one Ethereum, and it will maintain peg. Of course, as long as it's greater than peg, then actually what happens is they called it the boardroom. The boardroom prints out, and basically the whole ecosystem is doing very well. Now, right now, we are not at peg for E.M.P. So let's just take a look at the E.M.P website. It's hard to talk to without this, but look at this total value locked. So I will say they were closer to about 50 million TVL. Um, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know they were close if they weren't over. Right now, you can see that's like half. A lot of this drop has been because of all, of course, Ethereum has dropped, the market's dropped, etc. And you can see right here, this is not at peg. It's not the 1.0 or greater. So they're still working towards that, but still, this number is not far. And so this overall platform is, the point is, I think it's actually holding pretty well. Now you can still make money off of this. The real issue is, of course, liquidity pairs because they have farms. I don't think the staking's open right now for Ethereum. I think that went through and it's locked for right now, but for instance, this is the farm that I'm in. You can see this E.M.P ETH LP pair, which prints out E-shares. This is the item you're supposed to sell. Again, I can't go into tons of detail on this, but this is what you're supposed to sell. So all of this, these tomb forks, that's kind of how they work. It's a partnership deal with the entire ecosystem where everybody kind of operates in the same way. They're responsible and they understand how the system works without basically messing up everything and causing others to lose value and thus killing the peg essentially. So, anyways, they have other stuff. If you're familiar with Drip, they have a detonator which you can basically buy into whatever amount you want to put in, and you're basically buying in with that LP pair, and it pays you back about 1% a day. So, and I think my understanding is that actually varies. I'm not in this. I haven't gotten in this yet. I intend to one day. I just haven't yet. And they actually even have nodes. So, lots going on with this platform. This is the boardroom I talked about. So, right now, my point is when I said the peg, it's not printing. This is not printing right now because we're below peg. When we're above peg, you'd stake your E shares and you will earn E.M.P here. But right now, no good, right? So, anyways, I like E.M.P. I don't know if it's going to hold out and hold around, but I'm taking a risk here with it because I do like it and I think it has a shot to come back. So this is more of a long-term play with me. And I think a lot of people are still locked in the TVO or locked into the ecosystem because why get out? Like right now with LP pairs, they would be having pretty good loss, unfortunately. You know, the impermanent loss that's built in there with everything the way it dropped because E.M.P's dropped, Ethereum has dropped overall. I think a lot of people are going to hold out for this. Now, maybe at some point they change their mind, but right now I'm in it and I do like this project. So my last projects that I think I want to mention that I feel pretty good about, but I'm already invested in them, and I think you might be too because a lot of people are. Drip and piston. So these are basically kind of like ROI projects as well, but they are much more controlled, sustainable, etc. So there's a lot of difference there. But we know how drip is right now. It went up to some crazy, crazy peaks, like $170. And let's just go ahead and look at the chart here. So come in right here, take a look at this chart. We know over its life, and I'm not going to go all the way back to Mayish of last year when it first launched, but right now I will point out drip is over a year old. So there's a lot to be said here for how long this project's lasted. And again, I know it's down from all-time highs, but I will say a lot of this is lost users. A lot of people have maxed out, etc. But we have come back down here to, I don't want to say a steady price range, but with the markets the way they are right now, this is still performing fairly well. Okay. So I say that with the idea that it is nowhere near all time highs. I still believe in drip for various reasons. I believe the developer is working on a lot of stuff around drip in the ecosystem. Animal Farm just relaunched. So I'm just throwing that out there. There is a lot going on with this project, and I'm still holding some faith in drip. So just take a look at it if you've never heard of it. I've got a video up here. You can check it out. And I'll also link my piston video when we get to that in a second and mention it. But anyways, check out that. I think over time, my hope is that right now we may be in a red volume side since that's what you see right now because there's not a lot of people coming into DeFi and crypto when things are bad. But that doesn't mean that people won't still come in. And this is going to be a little bit prettier investment in a lot of cases because I know a lot of people just come straight to drip when they get into DeFi. It's just one of those projects that's out there, and it feels better when you first learn that it's 1% a day on what you invested or what you have deposited. So it's just very different than some of the other stuff. Anyways, there's a ton of people in it, and I think it has a chance. So now moving on to piston. Piston is very, very similar to drip, of course, because it's almost a fork, but some small differences there. Piston has kind of a control that adds sustainability on your ability to compound past a certain extent. So, you know, you could compound indefinitely, we'll say with drip. There's some other stuff going on there we're not going to get into, but no more indefinite with piston. They take that back and they say if you don't put more in, you can't continue to compound, right? So I actually think it's more sustainable. The other side of that is they have to get more people to come in. But I'm in the project. So we're looking at the chart here. We'll spread that out. So you can see it hasn't been launched that long. It's just over a month ago. It actually went up. It was very smooth. I loved this to begin with because this isn't anything crazy. You see this range here is not big. This was very homegrown, organic, if you will. It's not these ridiculous swings like this here. Now, this is just the beginning, so I'm not comparing it to that. But my point is, this right here, this is very, very rough feeling here, right? And I don't have it spread out so you can see it, but essentially, most of the tokens are locked inside a piston, so I feel good about that. I think it has room to go, and I think people are just now kind of discovering piston, to be honest. I think it's still very, very new, given it's just over a month old. If you look back at Drip, for example, I think this can have a life ahead of itself. They have basically a game coming with the system. They have a good roadmap. But this is one of those that I think the sustainability can make this a project worth getting into during these bad times. And I want to end with saying again, that's my opinion on how I'm handling this. I'm already in them. But these can go the opposite way because during bad times in the market, if you don't have enough users coming into these projects, and I will say these are very much Ponzi-nomics to some extent, but they're both doing a lot of things in the ecosystem that may change that. So I still think that a lot of users and growth are around these projects, and that's why I like them. But just take that for how you will. It could go either way, right? So bad market could mean nobody comes in and eventually they just die out over time. So now with all those done, I have other projects that I'm not going to talk about everything up here, but I think these are some of the better projects that are out there that I feel pretty good about sharing or talking to that I'm invested in. I'm invested in other stuff as well. But hopefully some of these maybe you're already in them or you can go take a look at them and see if these can help you weather the storm we're in. And don't forget, You're not bad at what you're doing just because you've lost money on any of this stuff right now in the market, whether you were invested in UST or Luna. We're in the same boat. There are people that have lost all they had in some of these because of what's happened. We're all in the same boat together. So, again, don't look at yourself as a failed trader or however you might see it. If you ever need to talk to somebody, by the way, for sure shoot me a message on or a DM on Twitter, or you can leave a comment down in the video. Reach out to people if you need to talk to somebody. Just offering in case you don't have somebody else to talk to. So, with that being said, I hope that this provides something useful for you. I'd love to know as well. Leave a comment down and tell me what you're investing in, or tell me if you don't agree with my investments. I just want some feedback. Not all the stuff I'm doing is right, and I want to know about what you're doing so I can maybe find something better than what I'm doing. All right, with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you actually got something out of this useful, and I will see you all in the next video.